Hi, it's a lipstick gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I did a little shopping. Not that I needed to, but let me tell you, I feel kind of like I am moving into like my era of luxury makeup. There have been some things that I have been eyeing, and I normally don't spend this amount of money on these types of items. There's one thing in here that's very reasonably priced, but there are four other items that are expensive. Okay, especially for what they are. And two of those are glosses, but let's talk about it. I'm only going to show you footage today of me putting on these new items, and there's 5 of them. I'm going to start with this because I don't think I'm going to end on it. But this is a new lip gloss from Armani. This is called their Prisma Gloss, and I have the shade number 4 in something cherry. This is the shade Cherry Glaze. I was looking for information, so I pulled out the box, and the box just says High Shine Hydrating Oil Infused Lip Gloss. Okay, now what I like about this is it feels really comfortable on the lips. I don't feel like there's any plumping or tingling to this. I don't think this is supposed to be kind of like a plumping gloss. I think it's supposed to be more nourishing since it's an oil infused gloss. I like that it is shiny. I like this red. She's so pretty, but it's not too much. And I like that we're not getting too much on the doe foot. I feel like the doe foot gets the perfect amount on. And of course, me, chronic over applier, I cannot help myself. So here I am adding even more. Good thing is I don't think this is going to be like stringing and pulling, and it better not be for the price I paid for this Armani gloss. It feels kind of good. It's very soft. It's very plushy. Now, this is going to take me some time to wear it and check back with you. I always do an update. I'm due for another one on products that I've purchased. And I like doing first impressions. Those are so much fun. Like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Like the one I just did about the Natasha Denona Golden Palette. Like I was giddy with excitement. It was so much fun. But I think it really comes down to after wearing it for a while, what does it really wear like? So I have a whole list of makeup updates. I'll leave that playlist for you in the description box down below, but make sure to check back because I'm going to be reviewing these things, and that will be after having time spent using them in a way that is not just like a slapping it on for the first time going, ooh, I like it. Because sometimes things don't always work out like they did the first time. I'm going to throw on something that I'm going to use as blush today, but it's really kind of considered like a highlight. This is new from Danessa Myricks. This is from the Yummy Skin line. This is their low lighter. This is the shade Unbothered. I really like this formula. I have several of, well, not several. I have 2 of the Yummy Skin like blurring balm blushes. And they're so pretty, but they're crazy pigmented. And the reason I say that, and I got this and I was like, ooh, we could do pink and it could be a really pretty blush. It will have a little bit of shine to it, but my goal is to use this as blush because the other ones, although they're really lovely, I go from 0 to like 1,000% pigment in like a fraction of a second. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick up what is essentially a buffing brush. I don't know who makes this. I've had this for like more than a decade. And I'm gonna load the brush up. I'm gonna bounce it on the back of my hand just to make sure I have product worked into the bristles. And then I'm just gonna apply this over the top of my bronzer. Ooh, that's really pretty. So because I have fair skin, even though I have dark hair and dark brows, I feel like I kind of have to be careful. Ooh, we got there really quick. So damp sponge. I have to be careful that I don't go too heavy with the blush and that I don't go too intense, like a color that is too deep. I think that is one of those things that I've always kind of been like, okay, be careful. But this is pretty because it has a nice glow to it, but it's not so shiny that it's like, if I'm looking at it, well, over here, there's maybe a little bit of texture, but I'm also putting this over the top of a fully set face. This will probably look way better if I put it over, you know, if I'm just setting my T-zone as opposed to putting it over everything, but I think it looks okay. But there's just a little bit more texture, but I'm sure that's because it's going over powder. During the Sephora sale, I picked up one of the YSL Couture mini clutches, and that quad is stunning. I love it. And I was sure, because they just released 4 new shades, that I was gonna grab another quad from YSL. I was like, what? Before you do, time to start trying other brands. So this right here is shade 429, and this Dior Quint is one, I've never tried a Dior Quint before. The one thing I think is really funny is that they give you like a sponge tip applicator and a little mini brush in here. The brush is not as bad as the one in the YSL, because that one's really stiff and I do love a sponge tip applicator, but why is it that in a luxury palette we're getting things like, okay, I would rather like have the thing be smaller and not have that in there, because what person who's paying this much will not have a way to apply it? Just a question. I'm going to start with this shade in the middle. I do like that it looks like it's kind of like quilted. It says Dior. I'm going to throw this in my crease. You know me, I never, well, rarely use an eyeshadow primer. And when I'm trying a new formula for the first time, I on purpose don't put one on, because most days, I would say 75% of the time, I am not using a primer. And I want to know how these are going to wear. Is this the sort of thing that I can reach for? Another thing, now that I'm getting a little bit older, I'm starting to notice a textural difference on my lid. So another thing I look for is not just longevity, does it wear well without a primer, but does it add texture to the lid? And the one thing that I've always heard is that luxury palettes are made for an older clientele. And so they really do have that beautiful, you know, you get a soft satin or a really gentle shimmer that brings dimension and beauty to the eye without it making it look like lizard skin. And that is not what I want. But this shade in the middle, ooh, she's so pretty. I'm gonna take that same shade on a slightly smaller brush, and I'm just gonna run it right here underneath the lower lash line. I'm gonna go into the darkest shade here. This one is really intriguing to me. Ooh, maybe that's too much. And I'm just gonna tap this in the outside corner. I was looking for something that wasn't too vibrant and that also wasn't just a straight up nude. I like the rosier tones we have in here. This is kind of like a really soft, gentle plum shade, because I have so many just straight up mid-tone brown nude palettes. I got the new one from Beauty Pie for the summer. I've got the new Natasha Denona Golden palette. I feel like Stora Dolls, the one from YSL, the shade 100, is neutral but a little bit on the cool side. And I was like, you know what? Let's not go for another brown palette. Let's go for something that has a slightly different color. Now, remember also, I'm a little bit of a boring Betty when it comes to the sorts of shades I like to wear. I'm not a really big purple or blue or really vibrant green eyeshadow person. So those, you know, are not necessarily in my comfort zone. And I like being able to know that this sort of a palette, it's not too saturated. It's very desaturated, what's going to work well for my fair skin. I definitely want to try this rosy shade here. This is really lovely. I'm going to bring just a little bit of warmth here. All right, the other thing I'm looking forward to is looking at these metallics. Before anything, just going to stick my finger in here. Oh, look how soft and gentle those are. Oh, okay, not too much, just enough. They look a little bit more reflective in the pan, but I like that. You know what I'm going to do? As a kid who started wearing makeup in the 80s, there's nothing more nostalgic than a sponge tip applicator. All right, so I'm gonna go over the pink. And, oh, hello. I don't see anything, hardly. What's going on? You feel like I'm digging into this shade. All right. I'm seeing a little something there, not as much as I would like. I want more impact, so I just picked some of this up and then oh, there we go. Sprayed a little bit of setting spray over the product on the brush. I'm picking up this lightest shade here, and I'm gonna hit it right in the inner corner. Boy, these are so subtle. I really feel like me and the mattes got along a lot better. I thought those were really pretty, but the minute I went into these metallic shades, I don't know, maybe they will do better with a synthetic brush. Well, I'm definitely getting more on the brush here, that's for sure. Oh yeah, that's interesting. I always feel like natural hair brushes are my instant go-to, but it's really interesting to see that some formulas do better with different types of brushes. And I feel like these are definitely performing a little bit better with a synthetic brush. I'm adding just a little bit more matte to the outside corner here just to make sure the depth is there. I feel like the mattes are fine with the natural bristle brush. I'm sure they do good with a synthetic brush as well, but okay. I feel like this is about as much as I'm gonna get. Okay, my thoughts are, it's pretty. And I like that we don't have any additional texture on the lid, but I was expecting more pigment. I don't know if that's fair to say. It is a very soft color story. I picked it up purposefully for that reason, but it looks very subtle. And maybe that's the thing that luxury shadows are giving, is more subtlety. I am an eyeshadow lover, and although I really like this, I don't have the same reaction to this that I did to the YSL Couture Mini Clutch. The shade in 100 that I have, the Stora Dolls, beautiful. I'm not saying this is bad, but I was expecting to have my socks knocked off, especially for the price for 5 eyeshadows. All right, let me throw on some liner mascara. I'll be right back. Despite the fact that I already have a glowy kind of appearance to the skin, this is something that I wanted to try. I've been wanting to try this for a long time, and it's because I heard Khaki Reviews Beauty just rave about this. This is the Balm Essentiel. I don't speak French, I'm doing my best here, but this is basically a highlighting balm. I mean, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. And she says she likes this. This is the sculpting shade, by the way, that she likes this on the high points of the face for that. But also if she ever feels like her concealer is getting kind of dry, and she uses a little tap of this over the top. So, oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. And this is the sort of thing, the older I'm getting, the less likely I am to reach for a powder highlight, unless it's like the perfect formula, because it's one of those things where it doesn't take much for my skin to look textured and dry, and that is not what I want. Boy, this is so pretty. Oh, wow. This is like a home run. Now, you're supposed to be able to use this everywhere. I do have a little bit of lines going on. I feel like maybe this is taking my life in my hands. But let's try it. I don't know. And maybe I'm not doing this right. Okay, at this point, I'm going to take a completely clean Angie A506. This is the under eye concealer from BK Beauty and Angie Hot and Flashy. Okay, I feel like that's better. And at this point, I'm just like pressing the rest of the balm into the skin. This is so pretty. Okay. Yeah, I like this. I like this. I think I might maybe not do under the eyes. I have been using that hack that uses like the Aquaphor under the eyes. This has been doing pretty good, but I really heavily powdered my under eyes. I wasn't paying attention as I was just kind of throwing on makeup today. This is great, but I wonder if this going down first the way that the Aquaphor does might actually be better for my under eye situation. But I'm not mad at how this looks, but this right here, all the way up through here, is so pretty. Look at that glow. And it doesn't look shiny. It doesn't look glittery. It doesn't look too much. And I am so glad I bought this. $48 for a stick highlight. But I like this so much better than the one from Westman Atelier Lit highlighter stick, because I got the shade Lit and it was so, and I don't know, we'll see how this wears. It had a really pretty kind of opalescent look to it, but it was so hydrating and to the point where it kind of ate through stuff. I don't know. This I feel like is performing much better right out of the gate. All right. I did also pick up this. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Pillow Talk Plump Gasm Plumping Lip Gloss. Another thing that I picked up because Khaki was like, I'm loving this stuff. And I was like, really? Now, first of all, the packaging here, I don't like it. I'm like, is that a cigarette? What is that? I don't know. But you know, I would have been much happier if it was just like the gold trim and the quilting at the top. It does have the Charlotte Tilbury in the top. Okay, fine, whatever. We'll forgive you. The packaging's not my favorite. I do like that it has a window here. This formula comes in 2 shades. There's Pillow Talk Fair Medium, which that's this one, and then there's the medium deep shade. So if the lighter shade is not deep enough for you or doesn't give you enough dimension or makes you look a little washed out, there is a deeper shade. I'm gonna take this off and we'll throw this on. I really like the way that Armani feels. That feels really good. All right, so I have been using this. I do like that we have a different shape applicator here. It's got a little bit of a tilt to it. You can see that, and it's a little bit diamond shaped. And I feel like one dip is just enough. And there's instantly kind of like a tingling going on. They talk about having a heat and ice kind of technology in this. I'm like, okay, what? It's burning. It's a plumping lip gloss and it's burning. I don't feel like the burning sensation lasts terribly long. Lasts about 15 minutes. And on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is like, I can't stand to get it off my lips, this is probably like about a 4. I mean, it's not the least tingly that there is, but it's also not as bad as the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme or do you remember Lip Venom? This was something I used to have in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. It was a clear sort of gloss that I think it was cinnamon and pepper or something in there. And it turned my lips actually red. Even though the gloss itself was clear, there was nothing to it. I loved that stuff. I went through tubes and tubes and tubes of Lip Venom. This has a similar feel to it, but it's not quite as intense. But beyond that, I like that this doesn't really turn my lips like a really bright red. The reason I don't want it to turn it bright red is I want to see this shade. And I feel like this actually does hydrate my lips. There's hyaluronic acid in here. There's other hydrating properties to this lip gloss, but mostly I want this kind of soft shade. I love the shine of this. I just noticed, oh, it's over here. Look at this. These little hairs crack me up. These are what? Like about maybe 4 inches long now, but I'm always trying to tuck them under everything else. I have a whole strip that's like a 1 inch long that runs from like right here all the way back to here of these little tiny short hairs because I had brain surgery last August. And so I'm always trying to hide those and they always just keep popping up. So if you ever see those, it's like my little horns that are coming up. Anyway, I feel like this turned out pretty good. I do like the eye. The more I'm sitting here looking at the eye, the more I like it. And I have to remind myself that this is not trying to be as pigmented as Natasha Denona. It's not trying to be as pigmented as Pat McGrath, although those are both kind of luxury eyeshadow products, especially in my book. This little quint here is very close in price to Natasha Denona, you know, full-size midi palette, but I feel like this is giving something that is very soft. This is giving something that is very elegant. And I don't know that there's a lot that can be done here to build these up. I didn't swatch these for you. Let's do that. Okay, I really feel like these mattes have a lot more pigment. This right here is the shade in the middle, and it definitely is reading more like a sheer satin. And these two here, you almost cannot see them. This is the white, this is the pink. So the, not really white, but the beigey shade, the pink, the one in the middle, and then the rose tone in the brown. Oh my goodness. All right, but you know, on the eye, it's really pretty and I like how subtle it is. For someone like me who needs desaturated eye looks, I feel like this is gonna be great. But I'm gonna have to remind myself constantly that if I wanna see that shimmer on the lid, I'm gonna have to pick it up with a packing brush and then I'm gonna wanna spray it with a little bit of setting spray just to make sure that we get some of that kind of reflective quality out. Otherwise, I don't know, those two metallic shades, not terribly impressed, and probably best to use a synthetic brush. Just things to keep in mind. I really like the way this look turned out. I feel like the lip products are a hit for me. I feel like the cheek products are a hit for me. It's just this Dior Quint, and it's not the whole thing. It's just these two shades here that have me going, is that it? Is that all there is? That's kind of what's going on in my mind. And now it could be because like the look is really pretty. I do like that. And I'm wondering if all Dior Quints perform this way. I've heard some people say that some have a different texture than others. Did I pick up one that is indicative of how Dior Quints normally perform? Or is this one kind of like, oh yeah, you got the one that the colors are pretty, but they don't work the same as all the rest? Let me know in the comment section down below. I feel like at this point with this experience, although it is lovely, I will use it. I'd be more likely to pick up another YSL Couture, like the Couture mini clutches, because those tend to perform a little bit better and have a little bit more pigment. Here I was really trying to pack on the color, and I feel like with the other one I have to make sure that I'm not going too hard, and if I want something really dark I can get there, or if I want a light wash it gives me that as well. But if you have a favorite Dior Quint, tell me what it is in the comment section down below. If you've tried any of these products, I'd also love to know what your thoughts are. Hey, thank you so much for watching today. I'll have everything listed that I'm wearing on my face in the description box down below, and they will be affiliate links. You can use them or not, but it does help to give me a small commission so I can keep trying new stuff for you. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon.